Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakha Chodash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone, and enough respect to the brothers that they're pushing and spreading the gospel of Yahweh, Bahashem, Messiah to the four corners of the world. Now, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Messiah, I just wanted to do a quick lesson, you know, on this article that I just found, and Lord willing, this be edifying. Now, the title of this article is that Trump trade threats compound global ocean shipping uncertainty. The scripture talks about Babylon, um, it being a place where through them the nations were made rich, right? And you see this, what's the word that they use? Protectionism, that Trump is, right, the effect of increased protectionism. And when you look up that word, it's the theory or practice of shielding a country's domestic industries, right? The theory or practice of shielding a country's domestic industries from foreign competition by tax imports. Okay. Now, this is what's been going on right now. Babylon is they're kind of separating themselves from the rest of the world, and the world are feeling the effect because Babylon is the one that really makes them rich. Another, comparison or another um, characteristics of America that you could use what to say America is Babylon. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video being that Esau is trying everything to the best of his abilities, all his tricks, all his resources. He's depleting all of it, right? Even as far as risking the relationship between itself and its allies, just so America can keep its position as the top nation in the world, because they see that they are falling, or at least if they're not falling, they see the other nations catching up, and they want to do everything to the best of their abilities to make sure that the other nations are far behind them as possible. But the scripture talks about in the book of Isaiah, the 47th chapter, this is the purpose. This is the I guess the what's the word? The fate, okay, of Babylon. Isaiah chapter 47, verse 1, it says, "Come down, it's like come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, and sit on the ground. There is no throne, because we are in the last days," right? The scripture talks about when before the last kingdom goes into perdition, it has to be what rejuvenated. It has to be brought back from death, or it has to come out from the bottomless pit. And we see it already come out of the bottomless pit, and now it's going into perdition. But these men out here are trying to what? Escape the what the Lord has pronounced. They're trying to escape the judgment that the Lord has pronounced upon them. All right. So they want to keep their power, and not only keep their power, but they want to establish their own kingdom of heaven. And not only to establish their kingdom of heaven, but to stop the actual kingdom of heaven that Yahushua is bringing into existence. But this is all that's left for them to get off the throne and sit on the ground. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstone and grind meal, uncover thy locks and make bare the legs, uncover the thighs and pass over the rivers. And it's pretty much this lady like you know um privileges that you had, right? The privileges that a beautiful woman would have is taken away from them. So now they have to what? Be like the rest of the peasant women, right? They have to go out and make meals, grind the meal, work on a millstone. I mean, your hair, all the ornaments that's on you, the Lord is going to strip that away from you, and you're just going to be like a slave woman. All right. It says, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. And as for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Right. Jump to verse 6. It says, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. And thou didst show them no mercy upon the ancient. Thou didst show them no mercy, and upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. So yeah, the Lord was punishing us by giving us into your hands to Esau, Edom, but you didn't deal justly. You didn't do what was within what was according to measure, right? The scriptures talks about the wicked being the sword of the Most High, but the wicked itself shall be punished, and the righteous shall be used to destroy the wicked. Except this time, the righteous will do according to the measure that the Lord has given unto him, and whereas the wicked tries to go above and beyond, they abuse their power. It says, and thou hast saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thine heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Right? So jump to verse 11, that's the main point. It says, therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. So the point here is to stand down with thine enchantment and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. So they're trying to use all the tactics that they used to use in the very beginning of their kingdom, to reestablish themselves as the dominant power. In the beginning, they would put sanctions upon people. They would, every um, strategy that they had, whether it's hurting the economy of their enemy or whether it's using their military, they would intimidate the other nations into subjection, and eventually make some sort of bullshit ass deal to benefit only them and cause harm to their neighbors. But this time, people ain't going out like that. This time, people ain't afraid of them. And this time, it doesn't matter what kind of sanctions you place on people, people are still going to go ahead and do whatever it is that they have to do. All right, that's how they did it with Pakistan, and Pakistan um, still delivered, made their nukes. They did it. They're doing it to Iran, and Iran is still making their nukes. They did it to Russia. Russia is still doing what they have to do, and so these nations are preparing for war, and these men are out here, trying to deter them. But the Lord said that that's not the spirit that He wants the nations to be in right now. For the heathens, they are supposed to prepare for war and cause their mighty ones to come down onto the stage of World War III. And so when you read this article, it says, oh, matter of fact, forgive me for that. It says the U.S. threats of hefty tariffs and millions of dollar port fees raise alarms. And eventually people are going to figure out a way to live their lives without America. The global ocean shipping industry that handles 80% of the world's trade is navigating a sea of unknowns as US President Donald Trump stokes trade and geopolitical tensions with historical foes as well as neighbors and allies, because the tariffs are even going to US allies. Trump is looking forward to placing tariffs on the European nations itself. It was bad enough they did it to Canada. Now they're going to do it to the Europeans. This is the backdrop of this week's. Matter of fact, let me see. Um, these companies will be grappling with the ripple effects of increased protectionism. So now America's, protectionism tactic, the idea is to what is to make America great again. But all it's going to end up doing is incentivizing these nations to find their own ways and means to trade around the world. And when they establish it, I'm telling you, when they don't need America anymore, they will, right, make war with America, which could reduce international trade while weakening the negotiating position of massive container ship owners that have drawn robust profits and for years held the upper hand in pricing. Trump has already slapped an additional 10% tariffs on goods from China, the world's largest exporter, and has proposed $1 million port entry fees for Chinese-built ships. So there's a whole lot of things going on right now. And don't let anyone, convince you into thinking that the Most High is an idol, right? It's an idol God. He's not. All the people who left expecting something big to happen and eventually concluded nothing was happening, they were ignorant, okay? They were not informed. They did not watch. They didn't do their job as a watchman. They expect that shit to just fall in their lap. But that's not the kind of mindset that a prophet is supposed to have. A prophet searches out the words of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, and he looks for proof of the word of Yahweh Bashim Yashai being put into action. And that is how the day of the Lord does not sneak up upon him. He doesn't wait for everything to be readily apparent before starting reacting, because at that point you're done. See, the reason these nations are gonna get caught up in in these horrible times is because, like the idiots who left the truth, they don't see things because they're not interested in searching out things that will disrupt their docile mind state. So they're looking for things to be undeniable, but the point where things are undeniable is the point where you're caught up in shit. We don't have to tell you that the economy is bad if you can't even buy a fucking gum. All right. If your rent is 5 times more than your monthly earnings. We at that point we don't have to tell you that at that point it's too late. You didn't act accordingly. You didn't make peace with your how about Shai. So now the evil days have come and now you have no leverage. You never had a leverage of the Most High, but you know what I'm saying. You have nothing to prove to how about Shai, right? That hey, I tried my best, so why don't you deliver me from this situation? And so, like those people who get caught up in it, that's the same mindset that all these people were in when they left the truth. They were not proactive; they were reactive. They were waiting for things to happen, and things will happen. They're waiting for Yahushua to come, and they've been looking, and Yahushua hasn't come yet. Well, guess what? They're going to know Yahushua is coming when Yahushua arrives. And at that point, it'll be too late for them. This unprecedented uncertainty is all around. And this is a wake-up call for the nations, for them to realize that America is they will abuse their power and they will strong arm everyone, for any reason that they deem reasonable. Hey, JD Vance even came up and said, the White House or the administration ain't even worried about European allies right now. Um, when you go into, let me try to show you all the news on the tariffs, and eventually you're gonna see that America has made itself an enemy. So this is the latest story on tariffs right now. Trump trade threats compound global ocean shipping uncertainty, which I just read. Trump's tariff threats hit China's oil and gas drillers. Trump decide Trump to decide U.S. tariff levels on Mexico, Canada. Um, yeah, man, they're moving fast. Okay, and for as of this moment, America is kind of benefiting from it, but eventually it's not going to last forever. Remember, it's the same thing that happened in during Russia's invasion of Ukraine. After a certain while, people were saying, "Oh man, Russia can't really do anything. They're losing a war." Until eventually, what happened? They started winning the war, and now Ukraine is running around looking for money and allies because they've been talking shit. The whole world was talking shit and deceived them to thinking that they can overthrow Russia, but that's not what the scripture says. All right, let me. I'm trying to find a point where they want to put sanctions on the EU. Yeah, even the Gulf of Suez doesn't have anything going through it right now because Iran has its this militant group, the Houthis or Houthis, whatever it's called. They're over there, disrupting trades because of the thing that's going on with Amalek. All right. So right now, trade is really really horrible. Um, did I read another article? Trying to find it. Hmm. Could have sworn I read it here somewhere. Maybe it's in another article, but I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Hey, the point here is Babylon is going to try, everything in its power to, keep its position, but that's not what the Lord has planned for it. All right, it's going to fall, and Lord willing, He speeds up the destruction of Babylon, and the kingdom of heaven be established. All right, so with that, I'm going to end right there by saying Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Shabrak to all your Akims and Akwas to listening in truth and sincerity. May the Most High, bless us with salvation. And until next time, Shalom.